Explore podcast. I'm Matt,
I'm Kat.
and we are here with Jeff Kober, who plays Cyrus Renault on General Hospital. And as I was saying before I click the on button, thank you so much once again for giving us your time. This is very exciting for me. We're big fans of yours, big fans of Cyrus, and are very excited to talk to you.
Thanks so much for having me.
No problem, no problem at all.
Is that Nicholas Chavez in a picture back there?
So actually, what do I got? Yeah, no Nicholas Chavez, but I do have Chad
Oh,
Duell
it looked like I just his show Monsters
just
begins
dropped
tonight on
today.
Netflix.
Yes,
So
actually.
everyone should watch that.
Mom and I
And
actually watched the first two episodes of that before coming on here, and after we're done talking
oh,
to
you
you, we're going to
did?
talk about that. So
Yes, we're going to talk about that tonight.
Oh,
Yes.
I just saw the trailers for it. It looks so scary.
it is very intense. It is very intense, and it's very interesting to see someone that we have watched on General Hospital in daytime for a number of years jump into something that is a Ryan Murphy project, which is accelerated to 100% and is
Right?
uh, is
Yeah.
is quite the
Yeah.
spectacle visually sometimes. And so it's been exciting to see. But you had a chance to work with him on General Hospital. How's been your experience not only with Nicholas Chavez but on the show entirely? Are you a happy man being on that soundstage?
Oh, I love being on the show. It's a whole other kind of acting than I've done in the past. It's really a hybrid form of acting. It's sort of like doing a stage play without rehearsal, uh, because it's all proscenium. When I first started, I would consistently uh, turn the wrong direction and away from the cameras, and have to be corrected out of that, and also have to get used to just doing one take.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's
We've heard
it's
that from a number of people. It is go 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 time.
and
Mhm.
there are actors who it's not for the faint of heart. I will say that. And there are actors who do it and go like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But I've always used acting as a, a way to practice freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, and when I started this job, I just said, uh, if I start being safe, I have to quit the job.
Okay.
So because it's you have one take. Being safe means, yeah, you'll fill in the. It's like color by numbers. You'll get all the colors there, but it won't have any life to it.
Mm-hmm.
And life is too short to waste time doing that. So
Oh, I mean, it shines through on scene, on camera, in the finished and edited and broadcasted product. At least from my chair, from my viewership, I've very much enjoyed the energy that you brought into Cyrus, and specifically when it comes to Cyrus, so much about him is about the subtext that's beyond the words, and about how you've portrayed him, how you have played him as the drug kingpin who's actually this wounded 16-year-old who never grew up. Moving on to what we have today, who is this very complicated religious character who, as an audience, we really can't quite get the pulse of what Cyrus is or what he's up to right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome to the club.
I figured that might be the response. Uh, because
Yeah.
when we did talk to you last, it was on the red carpet for the Emmys 2 years ago. I think it was the one that was postponed because of the strike. So it was in very quickly put together in December, I think it was. And in it,
Yes.
you had just walked out of hell with with Laura Jeannie Francis as your judge, and
Yes. Oh, yes.
and that was a moment. Do you remember getting the pages for that? Do you remember filming those scenes and getting to work kind of a surreal, fantastical dream moment for Cyrus?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember shooting, and I remember Frank Valentini being very excited by all the red that we were going to use in the production, and the surreality of it. And and I after doing it and seeing it, I of course want to go back and do it again.
Right.
and do it more, do something, because you learn. I've never done anything like that before, so I learned by doing it. Oh, oh, it could have had this. Oh, it could have had that. Oh, okay.
Hmm. Well, I mean, again, one take, right? No chance to look at it
Yeah.
back and see if we can get it again in the afternoon. And that you said differs greatly from other shows and projects, films, movies that you've done before. But take us to something like Star Trek Voyager, for example. I mentioned it before. I know it was 20 years ago, but
Yeah.
how does the schedule pacing like that compare to something that would be like a primetime show? How much more time do you have, especially with
Oh,
all that makeup on your face?
well, yeah, there's a couple hours at least of prosthetic work. And 2 to 5 hours when I did the movie Tank Girl, it was like
Oh yeah,
5.5 hours of makeup. When I did Alien Nation, it started out at 6 hours and then got down to five, then down to four, and then a couple hours taking it off
oh
too.
yeah, yeah.
Um, uh, but Boris Karloff did Frankenstein, and apparently the makeup took them like 12 hours to put on, so he would wear it until it would fall off, and he would just sleep at the studio. So I'm for he would wear it for like 5 or 6 days before it started falling apart, and then he'd have to put it back on again. So this is what I'm doing is nothing compared to
They
that.
compare to.
But um, that well, I got to work with the incredible Jerry Ryan, who was just,
Yes.
oh my God, what an actor she is, and
Yeah.
could not be more delightful, and um, and was just very it's so much, they take a long time to light it,
Hmm.
and they take they do rehearse it, but it's you're always rehearsing on film. You're always,
Hmm.
if you're really living the story out, you don't like figure out what you're going to do and then do it. You're
Right.
you're stepping in and going, I don't know, it's going to go some way this time.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and that one was really beautiful just in terms of performance because of the emotionality that they're two outsiders,
Hmm.
uh that character and her character,
Yes. Yeah.
and the heartbreak of and loneliness of being a human, even though I was an alien.
Right. Right. Well, I
It
mean,
was
Star
it
Trek
was
is about the humanity that you
Yeah,
find out in the galaxy. Uh,
yeah.
and I just, even though your face was covered during that episode of Voyager, I remember the performance and I remember the character. I remember the story that they played out so well. It moved me as a teenager. About this criminal who was born without a conscience, fixed through sci-fi mumbo jumbo by the doctor, realizes that he had been a bad person, and then ultimately faces justice, knowing that this might have been the right ending to his story, from the character's point of view. And I
Yeah.
just remember it so well to a point where when you debuted on General Hospital, when they showed Cyrus Renault for the first time in the jail cell, I'm like, that's the alien that I remember.
Well, to be fair, I was in a jail cell again, so
Yes, well, I
there's
mean, it was
that.
pretty easy to connect the dots. Uh, and here we are today, actually. Today, so many years later, Cyrus and are still a presence on General Hospital. You actually had an episode that aired today that was pretty impactful in
Oh,
reminding the audience of every terrible thing that he had done, by
really?
Jordan. Yes. So you were in the room with Isaiah, new character Isaiah, recovering from his injuries, trying to convince him, I guess, essentially to trust you, because you're Lulu and Lucky's uncle.
And he was in there. He was Cyrus had went into his room to, of course, to offer, to pray with him and to offer his guidance, of
As
course,
one does.
As
Yeah.
one
as one
does.
does.
As one
Yes.
does.
And so, and Isaiah is when he finds out your Uncle Cyrus, he's all in. He's all in. And then Jordan walks in, and boy, she messed it all up for you. Kicked you
She's
out of the room, kicked
she
you
doesn't
out,
like me.
No,
and
well, I
then
mean,
oh, she don't dig you a whole lot. And
No,
then she gave a recap of everything Cyrus has ever done.
yeah, I think they might be that might indicate the direction that Cyrus is headed in.
You heard it here first, folks. Write it
Let's
down. Study hard. See
let's
what's coming.
remember.
Well, I mean,
And
Let's
also at the same
remember
time,
how bad
thrilled to
he
see
is.
you back on canvas. Matt and
well,
I are thrilled to see you
super
back on
thrilled.
canvas, and I know a lot of the audience
The
is.
timing also too, because we also have Michael E. Knight who plays your brother Martin on it as well.
Ah,
Daytime legend. And
God.
he's been back on the show too, which makes me excited for future family shenanigans from the gray
We had
side.
some yesterday. We
Okay.
did some family shenanigans yesterday.
Lovely,
Got into
lovely.
each other's faces a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, because there are some standout scenes that you have participated in with Jeannie Francis and Michael Knight that have just been seared into my memory. The primary one is when we learned the entire family history and the accident that Cyrus had over their mother, who recuperating in the bed. And it is you, Michael Knight, and Jeannie Francis just earning Emmys. Uh, and it has stuck with me for so long. Um, can you take us back to that moment, to getting the full story as an actor, and then now having to bring that to life in one take with all of these
You know,
legends?
it's being an actor, at least for me, has really been about just discovering what it is to be human and to find out what it is that drives us, and all the, to find how one person uniquely goes through a particular challenge in their life, or a particular story. And there's a beautiful thing in storytelling that the more specific the story and the more personal it is, the more universal is the a message. If you just present a general thing of, oh yeah, a guy whose mother doesn't talk to him anymore,
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. We're taking in information, but we're not having a visceral experience. But if you have someone who is able to uh, imagine those circumstances and fill it up with personal experiences, not necessarily those experiences, but that level of intensity when we're dealing with the raw emotions of teenage angst in the body of a fully grown man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, teenagers still in there. And if you can convince your inner teenager that uh, they're in this situation, uh, and follow the breadcrumbs that have been left by the writers,
Mm-hmm.
then, and have people like Michael and Jeannie to engage with, because that's where it really comes alive,
Mm-hmm.
is when you take all this, you're filled up with it, and then you have a person over there who's filled up with their own stuff, and you just get in their face out of love, or out of need, or out of the need to make them change in some fashion. Then it and then you know you throw a left and they block it, and you come back with whatever your body wants to come back with, and it's like it could be, it's just a fantastic dance when it really works. So, and with them it almost always really works.
I mean, from my viewership, it absolutely has been working every time. So I very much look forward to seeing what's coming next. The other standout moment that really has been seared into my memory was when General Hospital had, what was it, Ma, their 700, what was it, 15,000th episode? Something
Yep,
like that.
Oh
15,000.
yeah,
So that
yeah.
was centered around Cyrus writing a letter to the newspaper, basically condemning Laura as the mayor. And at the end, she shows up to confront Cyrus about it, and you have a conversation between the glass. And at the end of it, she says, "I'm going to give you what you've always wanted, Cyrus. I forgive you." And you drop that phone in a way that I am never, ever going to forget in my entire life.
Wow.
And so from the insight that you brought before, where, I mean, you're not necessarily thinking about these little beats or these moments that you're going to play while the camera's on, that just adds a whole other level of just realism to
Mm,
Cyrus's reaction to hearing the words that he's wanted to for so long.
yeah.
And he
Yeah.
did not anticipate that. He was absolutely shocked. He was just like, it annihilated him. It did.
Yeah, and because because Jeannie comes with, her whole heart, and which, I mean, God bless her. She's like, she's just the queen of daytime, man. She's been there. She grew up on that show,
Oh
and
yeah.
she's still willing and able to bring herself to the party, so that when when that is saying something like "I forgive you," it it has an impact.
It really does just
And
wash over
yeah,
you.
yeah, and you like, and
And,
you
and
something has to happen.
Yeah.
another scene that I just really, really loved is when you were in the house when you were basically caught. Portia and Trina and there, you were holding people captive. And how you mentioned the vulnerability and the teenage angst. And we saw a very broken little boy in that scene. It was
Mm.
The
fantastic.
long hair just down, the defeated Cyrus look.
Yep.
And he was gonna kill her and then take himself out.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he was
Yep.
done. Like this was the end of the road for Cyrus, and ultimately, I believe he gets convinced to give himself up, or Curtis bursts in to save the day. One of the two
I
things
think
happens.
Curtis burst in to save the day.
Curtis came in to save the day, and and I got to shoot him,
Yes.
and and I said something like, "That's enough of that," or just, I mean, it was one of my favorite lines. I can't remember it though. And then I think Jordan broke in and
Mhm.
got me.
It was so good.
I mean, intense, and what a great
Watch
climax.
it again. Rewind. Watch it again. Good.
A wonderful climax to that first arc that Cyrus was involved in.
Yeah,
Kingpin Cyrus,
yeah.
the end of him, before he goes to
Well, and
jail for his great
they
transition.
wrote the hell out of that. That was so beautifully written. And it was so, and frankly, for me, it was, I thought, oh, okay, so they're going to send my character away. They're going to take some time to do this, because, a soap opera
Mm,
storyline they can extend one scene into 3 weeks.
right.
And, but no,
No,
it was a couple of days and I was gone.
they're
And I
done.
was like, oh, well,
Okay, all
that,
right, well,
oh,
fine.
okay.
I mean, I thought I might be,
Pile it all up in one place. Let's
maybe I
just
might have
do
a
it.
lawyer scene or two, but okay, all right, Cyrus is gone.
Yeah.
Well, another scene I'm thinking of is, and which kind of shows us that Cyrus still has two sides to him. He's very capable of doing something. When you protect Spencer in jail, you knock the tar out of that guy.
With the
Mm,
Bible, boom, or the book,
Character by the name of Book.
knock a book
That
out with
was,
the book.
yeah. And you said Cyrus and Spencer asked him, well, why is he he's asking you, why did they call him Book? And you tell him, well, he beat someone to death with a Webster's. That's why.
Just memorable moment after memorable moment. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. And there's nothing that my mom loves more than soap of violence. If you're going to throw a punch or hit somebody with a book, she's really going to love it.
I love it.
We got a question
That
here
just
from.
shows me, though. That just shows me
Yeah.
Cyrus can tap into his, no more dangerous self if he chooses to, if he needs to. And I love that you will do that for your family. And we saw
Yeah.
you sitting with Lulu today. You
Hmm.
left a little flower by her hand.
Aw,
Dante went in after you, and he didn't dig that one bit. He wants to know where the flower came from. And she's in ICU, and you know who's going in there. So he doesn't know you visited her yet, but he's going to find out. He's going to be mad at you. I'm sure you've already had a confrontation with Dante that I'll see soon.
Cyrus is just misunderstood.
He
That's
is.
He
really
Yes,
is.
I've always felt like he's misunderstood. We actually have a question here from the live chat who's been watching along and having a great time with us. They want to know, do you miss the ponytail? because we called you Uncle Ponytail. We called you the hateful ponytail. We've got the ponytail of pain in here.
Yeah, I miss
Uh,
all those comments
yeah.
in get rid of ponytail.
Uh,
No, I do not miss the ponytail. I would be, I would be around town and I would see some guy my age, uh, wearing a ponytail, and I just think, what the hell's wrong with that guy? And then I go like, oh wait,
wait a minute.
no, wait,
Wait a minute.
that's me. And it's a lot of work, man, having hair like that. Come on.
I mean,
It's just
I think that the longest my hair has gotten is slightly longer than yours right now, and it was way too much work then. So I totally understand.
I kind of dig mine now. This is kind of a good length,
Oh, I think that
it's
it's
we're
great.
not get where you're not headed back to a ponytail. I can
No, no.
guarantee that.
Maximum length. You heard it here on the 10th floor, folks. This is the maximum length of the hair that we're going to
I
expect
didn't
from
say
Jeff
that.
Coper
I
in the
just said we're
future.
not going to a ponytail.
No, and the scene where they cut your hair, that was very good too. I mean, there was a lot of message in that. The scene of
What's
cutting
the
your hair.
Yeah? What do you think the message was?
I thought the message was like just sloughing off the old, and I am new. I'm new.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I had a job where I was playing a New Jersey cop from 2008, so I had to get really short haired for that. And I told Frank, I said, "Hey, you want to use this?" And I do that.
Yeah, yeah. I love that approach of anything. Yeah, you want to, yeah, we'll use that. We'll use anything. I love that.
Yeah.
Content. We need it for soap. It's great. But yeah, we found a lot of symbolism in that though. When it came with, like Mama said, washing away the old. There's a lot of belief out there that says memory and spirit and a lot of energy is trapped in your hair. And if you cut that away, then you can let a lot of that go and move forward without that anchoring you with your journey forward. And so we felt that that's what the show was saying about Cyrus in that moment.
Well, and also, we were just talking before we came on. You mentioned meditation and podcasts and stuff, and I was just having a conversation this afternoon with someone. We were talking about podcasting, and the message that I really try to put out in my work in that arena is the message that everybody has the potential for growth and evolution and change. And one of the really important aspects of the ability to change, or the giving oneself the freedom to change, is ritualization of a shift, getting rid of this or taking on that, um, sacrificing something in order to make space for, like, my wife and I just cleaned out our closet, um, and gave a bunch of stuff away to the veterans last week. And, it's not so that we can fill it up again, but it's to, make space for the new and for everything to breathe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw it really as like that. Yeah, a cutting away of the old in order to have an opportunity for the new to grow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm totally with it. I'm totally with it. So
I've
I
heard,
go ahead, Ma.
sorry, something I've heard you say, and I agree with you 100%. The purpose of we're here is to love.
Mm.
And I've seen you say that on a podcast, and
Mhm.
I agree with you 100%. There's a sign in my living room that says love one another. And so I agree with you 100%. That is the reason why we are here.
That
It is to love.
I can attest for that. I
And
can
I see your
remember.
angel wings behind you there
Oh
too.
yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
Yes.
As a kid, I can remember asking my mom, "Well, what's the meaning of life? Why are we all here?" And that was her answer: was to love each other, was to love your family, was to love your friends.
beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to love yourself. To love yourself.
That too.
You
Mostly,
have to love
I guess.
yourself. And my
No,
favorite
that's it.
word is,
Now, see, there's a
favorite word is
conversation.
grace.
There's
I
a
don't know
whole.
if you can see that, but that's my favorite word is grace.
Grace,
It's
they're
Oh,
tattooed on her
okay.
wrist.
It reminds me how to receive and how to give all the time.
Mhm.
Grace. With grace.
Yeah. and grace is something that uh, is offered. It's not something you can take. Um,
Right.
and I think that the capacity to, uh, at least in part, the capacity to learn how to love requires grace, because it's a hard gig to be stuck in one of these bodies and be at the mercy of the pain and grief of life on the planet. I mean, no one gets out of here unscathed. It's a challenge to
If you
have a
think you
life
got
in the
out of here
future.
unscathed, you were pretty shut down, right?
Yeah, and that was your scathing right there. Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
take life too seriously, folks. It's not like you're going to get out of it alive.
Yes,
right.
there's that.
Oh gosh. So actually, Melissa is one of our longtime viewers, longtime chat participants. She really, really, really wants to know the answer to this question,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna go ahead and ask it. It's about Cyrus General Hospital, and she wants to know if you see potentially a love story in the future for Cyrus, and she hopes that it might be Lisa Lobrecht.
You know, I I've often imagined that there would be a love story for Cyrus, and
Heather.
I
Heather
think
Weber.
maybe when hell freezes over.
Okay, okay. No
I
Heather
do
Heather.
Weber,
think
no Lisa Lobrecht, no
they
Ava.
they there actually was a talk at one point about a love story between Cyrus and Allie's character. Um,
Heather,
That's
Heather Weber.
Heather. Those are
oh, is
two.
that what you said, Heather?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Heather.
There was that idea, um, and I don't know. It never showed up again after I heard it the first time.
It didn't seem to manifest in the
Well,
story.
it could
Hell
show up
no.
again because Heather's going to get out of jail. It's going to take a little while, but Heather is going to get out of jail. I have a
Yes, she
feeling.
is.
I feel like
And
anything.
she's also trying to, she's the whole old Heather is gone. In her mind, the old Heather is gone and she is renewed. She is cured because of her metallosis in her hip. And
Hey,
now
two
she's,
peas in a
those
pod.
spots
It
are gone.
writes itself.
So, oh, it really does write itself.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see what the writers shake out on it because it's been a pretty exciting time on General Hospital. We don't need to get into the details of it because it's not like you'd be able to give us any anyway. But it's been tumultuous creatively on General Hospital the last couple of months, and
So I've heard. Yeah.
uh, it might actually be a blessing that Cyrus was off for the majority of that because there was no damage that can be done greatly to the character. So crossing our fingers going forward. It seems as though the ship has righted itself. We're getting moving forward with a lot of momentum and a lot of excitement. I'm a big fan. I'm
Good.
looking forward to
Good.
everything that's coming out. Is there anything else that we should be looking out for? Anything else that you're doing on a regular basis? Any new projects that might be releasing that you participated in that we can expect in the future?
Oh, okay. So well, if on Hulu is there's a show called Self-Reliance that I did with Jake Johnson,
Oh,
um,
okay.
uh, from New Girl.
New Girl, which you
Uh,
also did.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, he and I almost had a threesome
Oh,
with
okay.
Zoe,
Oh,
with Zoe's
great.
character,
Wonderful.
and I was in my underwear. He never took his clothes off,
See,
so
that's what happens
I,
when you're the regular, right? You get to make
he owes
decisions
me
like
one.
that.
Um, and but it's a kind of it's a very funny uh story about a guy who's in some game from the dark web where people are trying to kill him, and if he survives for, I don't know, he has to survive for a while, and I'm one of the guys trying to kill him. I'm the cowboy assassin,
Huh.
so that's kind of fun.
Okay. All right. All right.
So that's there. Self-Reliance. There's a thing called Break that you can get on Amazon or Apple, I think, where I play a pool shark and another reprehensible kind of Cyrus character. And then there is one called Grassland, which has been it's going to be at a couple more film festivals upcoming in October. There's one in a film festival in Mexico and another one in Idaho. And that's where I played the cop, and that's a really good,
Okay.
really good movie. Really, uh, uh, it's socially uh, aware, and I think it has a really good message, and
Hmm.
they the story is great. The actors are uniformly phenomenal, and I love the directors. Two guys directed it, and the producer, and everything about it was
And it
just
gets to
enjoyed
subvert
all the.
expectations because you play a cop in it rather than the criminal.
Yeah, yeah, and and boy,
Or maybe he's a bad cop.
It's like when Eric Roberts walks into a scene, you're like, oh well,
no,
there's the bad guy.
no, no, he's a he's a he's is he a good cop? He's a cop,
He's a cop.
and there's actually a beautiful scene with myself and Quincy Isaiah, who played Magic Johnson in the story about the Lakers.
Uh-huh.
And I'm basically arresting him for being black. And but I found some pot on him, and this is when pot was still illegal. And there's a beautiful scene where I'm trying to get him to lay down, and he's refusing to do it. And I'm like, I don't want to make it happen, but and they really let that play out, where it's like we're both just a couple of humans here, and this is my job, and you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and there's the character's daughter died from a drug overdose, so it's everyone has they say that everyone is always doing the best they know how to do at any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
And, if we could really be inside them, we could understand their motivation and understand why they think this is the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make it right necessarily, but it's an actor's job to understand and to present a human rather than you know, a cutout. So
Caricature.
yeah, I really recommend. I really look forward to when that one gets released.
Yeah, that was you said that
Grassland.
was called Grassland?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll definitely keep our eyes open for that. Thank you so much, Jeff Kober, for joining us, sitting down with us for this last half hour, talking General Hospital, talking your life, your career, and all that is that you do. Congratulations on winning the Emmy a couple of years ago. Congratulations on
Thank you.
all of the work that you've been doing, General Hospital and beyond. It doesn't seem, you've been getting, I mean, you just gave us a list of 3 projects that you've done outside of GH, so. That you're living the actor's dream.
And thank you. And there's a podcast on the Soul Boom platform, that's Rainn
Yes.
Wilson's, and it's called Day Shift
Day
with Jeff
shift.
Kober.
Yeah, day shift.
They're short, they're easily digested, and
And it'll shift your
uh,
day.
Matt,
it will
how many
shift your
times has
day.
someone told you you look like that dude Rain?
Uh,
Has someone told you
I
that
mean,
before?
a couple of times, I guess. I
Yeah.
guess maybe when he was bearded in his hairy mud era from Star Trek Discovery. I don't know.
Well, he's kind of bearded, and yeah, he's kind of bearded these days.
Well,
So
hey,
we have a great conversation. I did one of his
Mm-hmm,
episode of his podcast too, the Soul Boom, and
mm-hmm.
I recommend it.
Check it out. Soul Boom, Day Shift, and everything jeff-kober.com. You can find it all there, right? Instagram is Jeff Kober Meditation.
Yep.
And all of that. So give him a follow and give him a round of applause in the chat there, folks. Thank you so much once again for joining us.
Thank you guys.
And
What a pleasure.
it
I so
really,
appreciate
the
it.
pleasure has been all ours. Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye. Nice
Goodbye,
to meet you,
everybody.
Matt, and Kat.
All right. Good to meet you too. All right, folks. Well, I've been Matt,
I've been Kat.
and we'll catch you later on the 10th floor. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
We did it, Mom.
We did it.
We did it.
It turned out good.